Hey everyone, hope everything is going well. Today I wanted to do a video on Bitcoin stocks or stocks that are in the same movement of Bitcoin and have exposure to cryptocurrency. And I also want to look at sports cars and I want to look at a relationship that I saw when the markets were going crazy for crypto. Once again, don't do anything based on what I'm saying in this video. This is just my own observation, my own thoughts. I'm going to implement some of these strategies, but I'm not going to be mortgaging the house. You know, JC Peretz from All Star Charts, he literally told me that he told us a month ago that if Bitcoin is over $31,000, person XYZ, you should go mortgage the house. I don't recommend that, but he thinks Bitcoin is going to go crazy for a momentum move, right? Let's take a look at this though. Before we begin, I wanted to look at what the beta of a stock means. We're not talking about, what Jesse Lee Peterson talks about, like beta. No, we're talking about beta in terms of a stock. Beta is a measure of stock's volatility in relationship to the overall market. By definition, the market, such as the S&P 500, has a beta of 1, and the individual stocks are ranked according to how much they deviate from the market. A stock that swings more than the market over time has a beta above 1.0. A stock that moves less than 1%, the stock's beta is less than 1. And I started looking into beta when this trader David Brady on Twitter, he has a CFA, I believe, and he's managed money. He said, hey, look, I'm looking into gold stocks that have a high beta because he thinks that's going to outperform gold, other indices in gold like the GDX. And I thought to myself, hey, let me look at Bitcoin. I'm going to look at some Bitcoin stocks and look at their beta and go from there. Here's a MicroStrategy. MicroStrategy has a beta of 0.57, so it's technically more than the market. And I'm going to look at the chart. What I've observed when I saw Bitcoin going like crazy, this was what, in like winter, close to winter of 2020. You saw stock price November 2020, $240, and it went to like I think it went over 1,000, but this chart is saying that it went to what, like in the 800, 700, 800s in February. And what I find interesting, that was a very short time frame. And I saw sports cards tend to do the same thing. They just had a crazy run up from November to what, March. Here's Marathon Digital Holdings. It also has exposure to crypto, 2.32. Okay, let's look at like the 5-year chart. Look at how crazy some of these moves were. Like, look at in like November, right? 3.39 in November. It's about what, 3 years ago, right? And if you go to what, like March, April, like $50. You're seeing a stock that went from 2.39 about to about 50. You're saying that it 20x'd within 4 months? That is a ridiculous move. Okay? Look at Riot blockchain, Riot platforms. Let's look at this. All right. It's hard to see it, but look at this. I look at MarketWatch because it has accurate beta numbers from what I gather. And let's look at this. Let's look at November. $6 in November. Where did it wind up in March? $55. You're saying it went from what? Couple of bucks to 50. What's the beta of this? 2.12. You know, anything over 2, that is on my radar. You're starting to see a pattern. These high beta stocks or higher beta stocks had a crazy run up about 3 years ago up until March and April. I'm not saying it's going to happen again. However, I see bullish price action for crypto. I see bullish price action for cards as well. Okay. And, you know, the 10-year tips, my favorite chart, you had negative rates, okay, during that time frame. And that's quite interesting. And is right before everything opened up too. So that's another factor that you have to put into consideration. We don't have lockdowns anymore. But, you know, I'm trying to look at the currency market, trying to see any parallels whatsoever. And you notice that in like February and March of 2021, the US dollar was basically bottoming out, and then it had a run up. And then what happened? Risk assets got killed. The US dollar went up for various reasons. It had the 90 on the handle, right? And someone may be like, well, there was a higher dollar earlier on and it went down and then went back up. Lower dollar helps risk assets in the short run, in my opinion. Wanted to look at another relationship. I showed this in my other video, and I said that, hey, look, the Japanese yen and the 10-year tips tend to go line in line or hand in hand. And you could look at my other videos regarding the 10-year tips, the Japanese yen, and it had a correlation. I did a correlation study in Excel of 94%. This was up until October. So positive rates, they're showing tips in the Japanese yen. Why do I talk about the Japanese yen? I'll show you why. Because this is one of the most important currencies out there. If the Japanese yen goes from, it peaked out what, 151-ish? What if it goes from like 151 to like 120 and the yen rallies? That means that you're going to go from positive rates to negative rates. And negative rates is very bullish for alternative assets, gold, silver, crypto, etc. And I'm not saying we're going to see a replication of the move in these crypto stocks, but I expect a stronger move. I'm not telling you what to do. That's my own thoughts. Now, I wanted to look at, once again, sports cards here, and I wanted to look at one of the prime examples or one of the hottest commodities during the cycle that we saw of sports cards going hot. And, you know, I was talking about this all the time. It was actually outside of YouTube. I really wasn't involved too much in YouTube until like November, when I wanted to get involved in sports cards on YouTube because it was a good distraction, right? And you could see that this cards went crazy. You know, you could see the prices that they have here. It's loading, but you could see in November, 124,000, right? And then you're seeing these wild prices in March, February, 600, 700,000. You had like a 5x move within 5 months. I remember selling cards, buying in November, Phelps card, rookie auto, $500 on Probstein, and then able to flip it within a few months before the Olympics. It was like 1,500 I sold it for, and then they took a net commission, so 1,300. You're like, I was 3x in the money. You could have bought this Jordan card, flipped it. I don't think a lot of people did, but technically they could have. They were slowly to sell it. It was like 7x it in a short time. Now, I don't think people did that because, they were slow to sell it, but that's how wild the market was at that time frame, right before the economy opened. So it wasn't everything dealing with negative interest rates, but we're in a time now. You're going from environment where gold, silver, Bitcoin, and sports cards have been about steady with higher interest rates, with some of the stronger dollar. What's going to happen when it reverses? Even though we know that Bitcoin, or this is what I think Bitcoin's going to come crashing down when the economy crashes down, but we're not seeing the stock market crash yet. During that time frame, this is my expectation. These high beta stocks of MicroStrategy, Marathon Digital, Riot, I believe, once again, I'm not telling you what to do. I believe these will go bananas before come crashing down to reality. And I believe, putting a little money for myself in options, like 6, 7 months down the road, I'm willing to take that chance. I have to pay a somewhat of a premium, not too much. I'm not putting that much money down in Riot or in Marathon. But I think that there will be an opportunity for a crazy squeeze. Now, MicroStrategy has gone up well since last year. My only regret with MicroStrategy was like 2, 3 weeks ago. I sold one of the options at 370. I should have just held it on. I switched to Coinbase. But, it went up $100 more. That could have been 10 G's in my pocket, you know, because we're in that point where crypto is going to go wild and some of that money is going to spill over into sports cards temporarily. So, anyways, I wanted to hear your thoughts and let me know what you think, and I'll talk to you later. See ya. Bye.